Hello and happy Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. I'm Milagros, and this is a little space I like to carve out to share different tips, tools, techniques, nuggets, stories, anecdotes, whatever I can that have helped me, that have helped my clients, that have helped attendees at workshops when put into action to move the needle 1 degree at a time. It should be 1 degree at a time. It is sustainable to be 1 degree at a time so that we can get ourselves to new levels of healthy and happy, whatever that means for this time in our lives, right? This month, during October, we're talking about shifting out of a poverty mindset into an abundance mindset. I have been, for me personally, I like to, when I decide to make a shift, I take a deep dive. And I have been having more and more conversations lately with women who don't understand their money EQ or have money IQ. In other words, their emotional and mental quotient, your EQ, with money, that relationship that you have with money versus what you know intellectually. And a lot of women don't even have those tools because it's not mandated to be taught in schools. It's actually only taught when a student gets to either their senior year of high school or in private schools. Oh, private schools teach their kids about money from a very young age. Don't get it twisted. Public schools do not. Think about the paradigm. Think about the programming. Think about the history. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm saying. So we have got to take responsibility to be able to know where we are, what we're doing to create movement to get to where we want to be. During the first week, I talked about the importance of being aware of your past, asking yourself these really important 3 pivotal questions so that you can understand how you got to this point in your life with money and your relationship with money, because you are in a relationship with money and it might be very unhealthy, it might be dysfunctional, it might be abusive. But you are in a relationship with money. And the goal is to shift that relationship and to get it to a place that's healthy and happy. The beautiful part is that money is not a person that ebbs and flows and evolves. Money is money, period. So money is very constant in that it does not change its personality or its attitudes or its beliefs. It is what it is, which means that the onus for change falls upon us, my dear one, in order to change this relationship. Right? If I know that my body is a consistent thing that's trying at all times to do its best for me in order to give me the best quality life, and I am not doing my part to sustain my body in a healthy way, the onus is on me. The onus is on me because that's a constant. That's a constant. And so then if I am in relationship here and that's constant, guess what needs to change, honey? Yeah. And just like I had to learn how to change my relationship with my body, and some of those components were movement and drinking enough water and getting enough sleep and meditating and eating right? And I had to create these shifts in these different arenas under this relationship with my body. Then my relationship with my body changed, and slowly but surely I moved the needle to now I'm in a healthy and happy relationship with my body. I realized a couple years ago I had to do the same thing with money. I was in a dysfunctional and slightly abusive relationship with money. I was like, money is bad. Money is the root of all evil. How can you be in a healthy relationship with someone or something you call evil or bad? Or if I have this belief that all rich people are greedy and scandalous, how am I ever going to get to a place of wealth when I have told myself that that's what that equates? Why would I ever want to equate that, right? So I had to be willing to change the relationship that I was having with this constant so that I can change the dynamic of the relationship slowly but surely over time and got myself to a place where I have a healthy and happy relationship with my dinero. So the first week, we talked about the past because you cannot rectify what you do not identify. So we identified it. The second week, last week, we talked about a couple of things that we can start doing in the present moment to really start creating those shifts mentally and emotionally, and to do things intellectually as well, but really mentally and emotionally, because it's about the abundance mindset. If you have a poverty mindset and a lot of money, you will sabotage yourself. You will, because you will not defy your own identity. And if your identity is money is hard to come by and I have to suffer to make money and I don't deserve money and I can't earn good amounts of money and I can't earn good money doing what I love, if that is your identity, that's part of your story and what you identify with, you will not defy that. You will sabotage yourself. It's why 95% of people who win the lottery end up bankrupt within 5 years, because their mindset around money has not shifted. It has nothing to do with the flow of money. It has to do with what's happening when the money flows in. Are you like shing, shing, blocking it? Are you looking for way, right? We can get into that another time. Okay, so that's what we talked about last week. This week, I want to talk about being intentional about creating a future that has more abundance in it. Do yourself the favor. I'm going to post the first week and the second week's videos at the end of this. Watch those back. And if you need to go back and start from there, do it. But really, today I want to talk about one thing. It has a couple of components, but it's really just one thing. I started to set dates with my money. Yep. If I am in relationship with my child and we have mommy-daughter dates, so that we can be intentional about spending time together and developing a relationship, that's going to be a healthier and happier relationship. Hopefully, if I'm showing up with love and joy and right? If my mind and my emotions are in alignment and I show up in that relationship and invest my time and energy, I'm increasing the chances that that is going to be a healthy and happy relationship. It's not a guarantee because I'm dealing with another human. But in this case, I'm dealing with money, which is a constant. So if I show up with an abundance mindset and love and joy, I'm moving the needle. That's a guarantee because that's constant. The shift is happening, which means I'm moving the needle to new levels of healthy and happy, right? Okay. So I believe in having dates with my money. I set on my calendar, I'll look at my calendar and get really real and say, okay, for this hour. When I first started doing money dates, it was every week for 1 hour. I would set a money date. Every week, 1 hour. That's it. And I say that's it, but we have to be intentional. If you want the relationship to change, you have to invest the time to change the relationship. What I started eventually, like now I'm at the point where I do twice a week, 1 hour, sometimes a little more. I give myself a little wiggle room because I've been living my budget for a while. I'm on it. I know how my money moves. I know where my money goes. I know how money flows. I'm still taking in time to do like my continued growth and education around money. So this is when I first started doing money dates. It was really an opportunity for me to look at my money. A lot of times, if you grew up in poverty or if you have a poverty or scarcity mindset, you do not want to look at your money. Imagine if you went on a date with your partner or your parent or your best friend and they did this the whole time and did not look at you. How would that make you feel? Exactly. You have to look at your money, right? So take a moment to really pull up your accounts and look at your money. What are you doing with your money? How are you spending it? Are your choices in alignment with who you want to be, or are they in alignment with wanting to impress someone, right? And that gives us a nice mirror, a nice reality check. So take the time to look at your money when you go on money date. And then what I usually do is I keep my account sitting up on my screen. I have a money playlist. I am not kidding. I have a money playlist, and sometimes it's just affirmations that are on a loop about money. Sometimes it's like money frequencies, Sometimes it's actual songs that are about money. And I'm thinking about this song by J-Lo called Dinero, and it's on my money playlist, right? So sometimes it's that, and just have that playing in the background. I'm getting subconsciously trained, reprogrammed, because I've been trained and programmed into the scarcity mindset. I have to do the work to undo that old learning and replace it with some new learning. So I have my money playlist. I don't drink, but I have a tall champagne glass and I fill it with kombucha. I put my playlist on. I burn a candle. I put on some sage. Maybe I burn some Palo Santo. I pull up my money and I'm like, hey, honey, good to see you. And I'm in relationship with my money. And then I get really clear each money date about what I'm going to do for the next one and so on. So what I'll do is I'll pull up my money, I set the tone, I get the room ready, right? I get myself situated and I create an environment that's conducive to abundance. And then I sit down and I write a couple of things that I'm grateful for in my life that are representations of abundance, right? I have 2 laptops sitting in front of me. I have 4 pairs of sneakers, like things like that. I have access to healthy, clean water. That's abundance. I look out my window. There's a bunch of trees and they look beautiful with all the abundance of colors, abundance. So I just start by opening up my mind with an abundance mindset. I read a couple of things that I'm abundant for. And then I'll listen to a podcast and take some notes. I have a notebook, and the notebook is green, and it's all money notes. Maybe I'm reading a book about money, and I'll write that. When I took my financial course with Tess Waresmith, which is an amazing course, I recommend it. We're doing a workshop next week, next Thursday, the 26th at 1 o'clock. It's free. And I'm going to put the information in the comments or in the commentary of this, the description, so that you can have it if you want to join us, because that workshop, that course really helped me learn more intellectually about what I was doing with my money, because now I got a handle on my emotional stuff. And now I learn more about what I'm doing intellectually with my money. I learn more about the constant that is money. And then again, it changes my relationship, because it's almost like learning my daughter's love languages. Now I know money's love languages. I know how it moves and operates. So I know how to show up and interact with, so that I can benefit and get healthier and happier financially, right? So when I was taking the course, I was carving out time to focus on the course. When I was done with the course or before the course, I was reading books. I was doing homework. I was listening to podcasts. I was carving out time and being really intentional about creating a shift in understanding my EQ with money. And speaking of which, Happy Money by Ken Honda is my all-time favorite book when it comes to money. I will list a couple of books that I've read, but that's my all-time favorite book when it comes to understanding your emotional relationship with money. So I would read, I would write, and the intent then, before the timer went off, because I would set a timer, I live by blocked chunks of time, which is why I'm able to be effective with my time. So before the timer went off, I get a 5-minute warning, and I would say, okay, what am I focusing on for my next money date? Okay, and then I would kind of write it out or type it up, and I would, copy paste and say, okay, I'm going to take this out because I finished that, and I'm going to replace it with this. I finished reading this book. I'm going to find a new book. My goal is to find a new book and to start reading the first 10 pages during my money date. Intentional spaces of carving out money, and put your family on notice. Matter of fact, if you are in a partnership, maybe they want to join you. Maybe you do your first 20 minutes separate, and then you come together to have money dates, because if you're working in partnership, you should be working in partnership, right? And I find that doing these money dates has created a shift in how I'm moving forward, which has changed my future. And by future, I mean right now or in 5 seconds, because if we're in the present moment, it's the moment. But anything ahead of us is the future. And the future is 5 seconds from now, 5 minutes from 5 years from now. How am I being intentional about creating a future that is happy and healthy, my relationship with money, both my EQ and my IQ, right? So this is something to think about. And then creating those money dates to make sure that you're doing the work to move the needle, to create the thing, because it doesn't happen organically. That's not how it works. If you're, again, coming from a scarcity or poverty mindset, you have to unlearn and relearn and replace that old way of thinking with this new way of thinking, and learn about the constant that is money, so that you can change that relationship. When I started doing this a couple years ago, I was always crying about money. I started every month in tears. I was having a hard time. At the time, I had 3 jobs, and I was working on my business, and I was always having a hard time. And I thought, nope, something's got to give. Something's got to give here. And then I started diving into understanding money and money, your money relationship, and money IQ and money EQ and all these things. And as I started creating those shifts, now I'm in a place where I can say confidently, I have a healthy and happy relationship with money. I have money. Money flows into, I can say confidently, money flows into my life with great ease and out of my life with great joy. I can say confidently, money is my friend. I love money and money loves me. I'm in relationship with money, and it's a healthy and happy one. I can say that confidently now. I could not have said that a couple of years ago because of where I was. And I want this so bad for women and for people of color to understand. Yep, we have got to change our mindset and change our intellect and our knowledge of money so that we can continue to create change, because money amplifies. If you are a horrible, nasty person who is greedy and selfish, money's only going to amplify that. And if you are the kind of person who always wants to help other people and you want to create change and you want to, create movement, money will amplify that. right? So the bigger your dream is, the more money you should be pulling in and moving through your life to make that dream a reality. And it starts here, and it starts here, and then it starts in, meaning the mind and the heart, and then in the knowledge of money. Oh, and the things that we can do. I mean, yeah. I'm going to put the information for about the course, the workshop in the description. I'm also going to put a couple of books that I've read about money in the description. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I hope to see you there. I'm going to stop now because if not, this will become a whole workshop. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'm sending you so many like vibrations and frequencies of abundance, because it changes everything and provides a new level of freedom and of movement in our lives. And you deserve it. And you deserve it. And you deserve it. I'm sending you love and light. Peace.